Hey everyone, welcome to this video series where we will build out the software application Rock, Paper, Scissors. Let's take a quick look on the screen to see how this finished product will work. The user interface is presented in a mobile-first approach, so the user has three selections. Once you make a choice, we have the rock icon on the left, paper in the middle, scissors to the right. Take a look down below here. Once the user selects their choice, the computer will actually randomly select its choice of the three, and down below we'll get the output. So I'm going to select paper first, and scissors beats paper. Notice the computer made that selection. It didn't change, but it basically was a 1/3 chance, so it selected the same thing that was on the screen. And scissors beats paper, so I'm told to try again. I did not win. Let's select rock this time. Notice now the computer went to rock as well, so we matched, we tied. I'm going to select scissors here, and I'm told that rock beats scissors. The computer then repeated its selection of rock, so I lost that one. If I select scissors one more time, now it's a tie. So this is the game, very simple from a user interface standpoint. However, behind the scenes, it's going to allow us to wrap up and pull together HTML elements with CSS styling and JavaScript programming, and we are going to be using that in an environment called AppLab with our friends at code.org. So if you're following along, please head over to code.org right now. If you haven't set up an account yet, do that right away. My students use your Gmail or your student email account to sign in, and it should take you to your dashboard. All right, so on the screen, I have my dashboard, and in the upper right-hand corner, I've got two drop-down menus. I want to select Create, and this will allow us to choose the different types of software that we could build in code.org. So we're going to select AppLab to start here. So make your selection. All right, and on the screen is the blank AppLab environment. This is an amazing tool to bring those three software languages together: HTML with elements, CSS with styling, and the programming logic of JavaScript all together. So let's do a quick walkthrough. That's kind of the point of this video in the series, is just to introduce AppLab. Number one, on the left-hand side is a picture of a phone, and that's going to be our screen output, what the user sees. So we are forced to make decisions or develop and design in a mobile-first approach. So something we've done all year. In the middle is a toolbox. So right now, this toolbox is showing the different functions that I have in JavaScript. UI stands for user interface, so all of these yellow blocks allow us to connect the user interface to the language and have things happen. If I click on variables, the purple toolbox, I could drag a block and establish a variable within the program. And I could take that off the screen. If I choose the blue toolbox, I'm now able to use blocks of for loops, while loops, if statements, and so on, allowing for my program to repeat things or make decisions using Boolean if conditional statements. If you click on the green, there's our functions blocks. And finally, our orange is our math blocks. Those are some of the ones we'll use the most with this project. And again, this is to bring in the JavaScript language. But as you know, you can't have JavaScript working in the front end without a user interface. This is where AppLab gets very powerful. If you take a look in the toggles under the logo for code.org, there are three: code, design, and data. Right now, code is highlighted, which allows us in the workspace to build our program. But if we click to design, take a look at how the toolbox and workspace changes. So now our design toolbox comes up, and basically gives us a drag and drop behavior to bring HTML elements to our screen. So I'm going to just drag over a button, and I can bring that button into the screen. And now, take a look under Workspace. If you recall, in order to bring HTML to life, we used CSS, and we connected the two. So under Workspace now, when you drag in an element into your user interface, the CSS properties come up. So the ID name, very important, but we'll get to that later. This ID will just connect or allow JavaScript to speak to the user interface. Text is what the user will see. So if I just type in, delete what was there and type in click me or put anything there, now the user has a different perspective. I could change width, height, X position, Y position, color, and so on. So remember that this is the CSS styling. The design toolbox allows us to bring in different elements. So there's my image that I just brought in, an image block, if you will. And now I could bring in the CSS from that, including the actual source of the image. So again, taking you back to the beginning of the year when we were just hard coding this within Cloud9's environment, you had a lot of typing with a lot of just syntax. Now we're able to drag and drop and then really focus on the JavaScript to bring the three together. All right, we want one final thing we want to do before we go any farther. At the very upper left-hand corner, there is a rename feature. Please select that. And we want to rename our project. So I'm going to use the name Rock, Paper, Scissors, upper camel case, meaning no spaces between the words, but the words are separated with capitalization. But also, please, my students, add your initials at the end and hit save. Okay. One final thing before we break with this video is, how do you come back to this project in the future? So do me a favor, click on the code.org logo. That should take us back to the dashboard. All right, and once we're in dashboard, if you take a look at the top navigation, we have My Dashboard, Course Catalog, Projects, Professional Learning, and Incubator. Click on Projects. Okay, now we're in Projects. If you scroll down just a little bit here, you should see Rock, Paper, Scissors in your project name. So, my students, remember that since you're in a classroom setting, your teacher will be able to see all of these project names. So if there's anything out there that you don't want to have out there and viewable, just delete those when you have a chance. But again, this is your library of all the projects that you are creating. So this is how you're going to be graded. Your teacher will be able to go into your projects, take a look down below to project name, and open that up. All right, so that is the end of this initial video, where we simply took a look at the project itself and then introduced ourselves to the environment called AppLab. Coming up, we will build out, or begin to build out, the user interface. Thanks for coming along, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.